Yeah, I've started sharing. Okay. Okay. In last week, actually, we stopped here, for how to monitor your Spring Boot application using Actuator. Okay. So, we have gone through a couple of URLs and, we checked about the health and what are all the beans that it created and, application metrics and also the details around request mappings, right? And yeah, so all those things, we can check through Spring Boot Actuator. So now let us go ahead and, understand what exactly, Spring Boot and, Spring MVC. Okay. And we'll go for the next topic, Spring Data JPA. Okay. So yeah, generally, there are a lot of confusion when we, like, when we search in Google or, when we ask somebody, like, what is the exact difference between Spring Boot and Spring MVC and Spring, right? So yeah, I just wanted to give some clarity on it. Okay. So what exactly these three frameworks does, right? So all these three things, three frameworks are, helping us, to create an application. Okay. To create an application in an efficient way. Okay. So Spring framework actually introduced, the dependency injection. Okay. And it has several annotations. Okay. Which was helping us, to write and, to minimize the number of code. Okay. Using those annotations, it was very easy. And yeah, and also, it has the main usage, like, dependency injection. Okay. So, but whenever, whenever it comes to the Spring framework, dependency injection is not enough. You need actually, to build other frameworks. You need to build, like, Spring Web and all. Sorry, if you wanted to build a web application, you need, more frameworks to be added to your project, right? So that means, you need to add more dependencies into your project. Okay. So what we have done actually, for that, Spring has one more module in it, which gave us Spring MVC. So it helped us, right, to build web apps and REST APIs. And okay, so it so it is helping us, to build the web applications with the okay Spring MVC. Okay, so Spring MVC is, why it became popular because of Struts. Okay, Struts was also one of the UI, and Struts was also the one of the framework actually, which is helping us to build web applications. Okay, but it is little complex than Spring MVC. Okay, so that's why, Spring MVC got more popularity, building web applications. Okay, so, and in Spring MVC, actually what it came into, what we got something, right, iterate controller, REST controller, and request mapping. Using these things, we were able to, build applications, on REST APIs. Okay. Spring MVC, give more additional features on Spring framework. Okay, so which helped us, like, to build more complex applications, in a very easy way. Okay, and when it comes to the Spring Boot, okay, so with the Spring framework and Spring MVC, whatever the application that we build it, okay, so still we have some challenges, to make that application to production ready. Okay, so what Spring Boot, gave more advantages or, more features, which made these Spring applications, to deploy, or Spring applications to manage well, in the development or in production or in any other environments, right? So we already saw different type of starter projects, okay? How it made easy, to build an application. And I think you guys remember about auto configuration. Okay. So auto configuration is also like, uh, helping us, to eliminate some of the steps, some of the setups. Okay. Uh, you know, uh, Whenever we are starting or whenever we are creating a new application, right? Auto configuration is going to help us, right? So there are non-functional requirement also which Spring Boot provided, like actuator, embedded server, logging and error handling, okay, and profiles and configuration properties. So I think you guys remember about profiles and configuration properties. With this concept, actually, we were able to you know easily create different environment properties in the project. And using profile concept, we were able to load them, uh, you know the dev or SIT or production, depending on the profile. Okay, so Spring was capable enough to load those properties. Okay, and it will give you the SIT or dev, whatever the profile that you passed. So the exact properties will be loaded, and it can be used for the program execution. So there is no kind of comparison between these things, but it Spring making developer experience much more easier with all these frameworks. Okay, so Spring framework, and in that actually we had one module as Spring MVC to make a live, or the application development on website. Okay, it made easy. And the second one, Spring Boot, it is one of the Spring project, okay, which made much more simpler. Okay, um, you know building a Spring application, okay, with all the starter projects, auto configuration, actuator, and embedded server, all these things helping us to build a Spring Boot application very, very easy, right? So whenever, if you get something like, if do you see any differences between these things, Spring versus Spring Boot? Okay, so there are a lot of differences, but the Spring Boot is actually created to make Spring applications built very easily. Okay, so let's go to the next topic. Okay, uh, okay, so I will directly jump into JPA and Hibernate. Okay, so before that, before you learn JPA and Hibernate, we'll try to use Spring JDBC first, and then we will try to connect later. We will jump into JPA and Hibernate. Okay, so for that, what actually we are going to do, we are going to create a project. Okay, that is Spring Boot project with H2 database. Okay, so in that, actually, we're going to create a course table. And after creating that course table, we are going to use Spring JDBC to play with course table. Okay, that means you are going to write all the insert, update, delete queries using on top of course table. Okay, but using Spring JDBC. Okay, so first, that is the step that we are going to learn. And once everything on Spring JDBC is completed, then we will understand how JPA and Hibernate are helping us to write the code, very minimal code, compared to Spring JDBC. And so after that, we will try to use Spring Data JPA, to play with the course table. Okay, yeah. So let's start with the first step. Okay, so to create a project, I'm just going to Spring Initializer. Think you guys already aware of this. Okay, I'm just taking Maven. Okay. Yeah. So jar, and I was just choosing 17. Okay. Now let's come to the dependencies. Okay. So what exactly we are trying to achieve it here, right? You know, with this project, we were trying to connect a database, okay, which is H2, and this is in-memory database, okay. So this H2, will be holding data in a table, okay, that we are going to create a course table, and it will have some default data that we are going to insert on it, and we are going to play with that data in the Spring JDBC. Okay, so the JPA and Hibernate, Spring JDBC, all these things are going to enable your application to talk with database. Okay, so if you wanted to store something in the database, yeah, either of these three options, I think you can use it to connect to the database. And after this example, you will be able to understand which one is more better to connect with the application. Okay, so to connect with the database. Okay, so let me go back, and we'll try to add some dependencies over here, because this is Spring JPA. So we need some database related things, and we need sorry. Okay, so we wanted to integrate with the with the RESTful services, and so that's why we are going to add Spring Web, okay, as a dependency, and I'm going to add Spring Data JP, Spring Data JDBC. Yeah, Spring Data JDBC, and then one more, Spring Data JPA, and the last one, H2. Yeah, so if you see here, provides a fast in-memory database that supports JDBC API and R2DBC access with a small 2 MB footprint. Okay, so this is an in-memory database. We'll discuss more on H2 database, in the going forward. Okay, so let's create this application. Okay. Okay, so now I got demo on CPA. I'm just extracting it. Okay, just got. um, Okay, so I've just pasted here. Let's do an import the application. Okay, import existing Maven projects, browse. What was that? Demo JP, right? Yeah, finish. Yeah, I just importing the Maven related things. Just, give me a couple of minutes. Okay. Okay, that's almost done. Yeah, just give me a couple of minutes. Yeah, this is, I think, because of a lot of dependencies. Yeah, it's almost done. Okay, so now the demo on GPA is ready. Okay, so yeah, we have one sample class which is created demo on JP application, and yeah, we have the requested application properties. Okay, so yeah, let's go and start on this. Okay, so I already have a particular project which I've already created for this, for this task. Okay, so yeah, so the same in the same way that we are going to build this demo on JPA as well. Okay, so let us go ahead and jump into directly application.properties. Okay, so what we are trying to do now actually, so let's learn something about the first one for the H2 database, and then we'll go, step by step with all other classes, how we need to create and everything, right? So let's go ahead and, open application.properties and just copy paste this one, string.h2.console.enable equals to true. Okay, so let us start the application. Okay, yeah, it's getting started. Okay, and if you observe in the application, okay, so what it was trying to show you, there is a database which is getting created. Okay, so URL is this one, JDBC H2 and MEM this one, right? Okay, so that means, there is a in-memory database has already been created for us, but we need to access with this JDBC URL. Okay, so how do you guys access that? With a simple way, using localhost 8080 and that H2 console. Okay, if you give that and try it, it will automatically open your database. One second. Oh, whether it did not start on 8080. Okay, it started on 8080. Then what is the issue? Just a minute, guys. Why? Okay, just a minute. I'm gonna do. Let me run this. Okay, whether let's see, if it is coming here or not. Okay, it just started. Just ignore it. The logs. Okay, not in the browser. H2 hyphen. Oh, yeah, it is coming here. Okay, 1 second. That means there is something wrong with that dependencies. Well, let me just compare, the dependencies. Just give me a second. Okay. Okay, so I have data JDBC and data GPA, web, Spring Boot starter web, and Spring Boot dev tools. Okay, JDBC, JPA, and web. JDBC, JPA, and web. And I have one more extra dev tools, and the H2 data, it's already there. And boots, yeah, just only dev tools was missing, but is that really? Okay, just add it. Okay, yeah, let it bring that dependency, and let's see if it's gonna work with that or not. Okay, so there is one more thing that it is differ. This is 3.05. So did we select a 3.05? Okay, yeah, it's a new version. Okay, might be there is some changes in the history database. Okay. Yeah, it's no change, I think. Okay, let's see if that will resolve something. Yeah, okay, that's not. Okay, it just started now. Has to, yeah. Let's see if it is available, but I'm not sure why it is not coming. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Yeah, now it is showing up here. Okay, so now what we need to do, okay, so if you see here, this is the H2 console. It's available at H2-console it was giving. So I tried to access with that, and I was able to see the login screen on the browser. Okay, so what we need to do right now, actually, I already told this is a inbuilt, okay, in-memory database. Okay, to access this every time, okay, what we need to do, actually, we need to update this JDBC URL because this is very dynamic. Okay, so whenever you restart your application, it is going to refresh and it is going to create a new JDBC URL, for the application, whichever you wanted to connect. Okay, let's do a connect. Okay, so this is the default, this is a default database that you're seeing it here. Okay, so if you wanted to perform something, or if you wanted to create something, the table and everything, the similar like whatever the Oracle and SQL Server, whatever the databases that you see, okay, you can perform all those operations over here. Okay, and it will give you the result. Okay, same as like that. Okay, let's see in deeper. Okay, but before that, we just wanted to resolve this issue. Okay, so if every time that you wanted to collect this from the log and logging into this H2 database is not a good approach, right? So for that, we have a simple solution. So instead of going with a uh, dynamic database creation, okay, so what we are trying to do now, we are going to just add a static way, like you are going to give a database name for it, and we that database name will be a constant, okay, for every run or for every restart for our application. Okay, so let's do what exactly, how we can make that, right? So you just need to add a certain property, like string database data source URL. Okay, and instead of loading those this one, which is, this is actually a dynamic one, which Spring is getting created, so which is Spring is creating for us. Okay, so instead of what I've done, actually I just added first DB, or you can just give that the demo DB. Okay, so because we are working on a different project, so I'm just giving demo DB. Okay, and what we need to do now, just stop it and save this one and restart the application. Okay. Yeah, so it says the DB is available. Okay, there is H2 having console, and if you see the JDBC URL now, it is demo DB. Okay, so now if you go back to the browser and just refresh this. Okay, so it is giving you the old URL, right? So now what we need to do, sorry, did not copy, it seems. Okay, right, so demo DB, just click on connect. Okay, so it's good, like you're able to connect it, right? So if you want to perform any operations, actually we required some table, and we we have to we have to create some data in it, and let's see whether if we are able to perform update, delete, and create operations on this database. Okay, let's see some simple queries. Okay, uh, I already have some queries that, okay, so before going to before going to insert that table, okay, actually we need to create that table uh, in the H2 database, right? So for that, actually you need to write some query to create a new table. Okay, so let's see, I already have that, I just copy paste, 1 second. Mm, just a minute. Okay, I already have this one in the somewhere in the document. Okay, so yeah, I'm just copy pasting this. Okay. Okay. So if you see here, what I've done actually, I just created a table called course. In that, I'm just adding ID. Okay. So ID is kind of a number. So when it comes to the H2 database, we use it as the data type as big int, and it should not be always not null. Okay. So, and I just created a name and author. Okay. With the varchar. Okay. So this is a string that it is going to take an input. Okay. So, and we have declared that primary key as ID. Okay. So let's see whether if it is going to execute. Yeah, it executed. And if you see here, it created a new table called course. Okay, right? So, and if you wanted to learn, oh, sorry, okay, if you wanted to insert some data into it, okay, just try to execute these things, insert query, and just click on run selected. So it says like one record has been updated, right? So use the same query, whatever we have, select queries, start from course. Okay. Run selected. Okay, if you see here, it is printing that whatever we have added. And similarly, you can delete that. Okay, let me just do one more insert and then we'll delete it. Okay. Okay, so you can see both right now. So delete from course where ID is equals to 2. Okay, run selected. Okay, one is deleted. See, we have only one row. Okay, so remember, this is like, we are going to this is like H2 database as in-memory database. So whenever you restart your server, you will lose all your changes and you have to do it again, for your project. Okay, so for this, every time when you load it here, you come here and creating all these tables. It's not a right way. So what we can do actually, we can add a SQL file into that project. So whenever the application is starting, okay, so it automatically picks up that SQL file and it will create a database. Sorry, it will create a table in the H2 database. So let's see how it does. Okay. Just a second. Okay, so I'm just stopping it now, and what I'm going to do, okay, so I already have this schema.sql created. So I'm just going to copy this one. Okay. So what this schema.sql is having, it is having just only the query for the tables. Okay. So query for creating a table. So let's see now. So I just stopped the H2DB. That means, our DB itself, will not be available. Let me show you. Okay, so seems it's like not accessible, right? So why? Because we already turned off our server, correct? So let us bring it up now. Okay, so it started, and one second, yeah. Okay, so let us try to access it. Okay, where is that? Yeah, okay, and just I'm connecting. So if you see here, it already created a course table over here, right? How it created? Because it doesn't have any data, because we did not added any data in the application. In the application startup, actually I have used schema.sql, so that it can add some data into it. Sorry, it can create that table schema, uh, a course table, whichever it is required for our application, right? So now we'll see how to insert that data and how to update that data, and how to delete that data using, Spring JDBC. Okay. Okay, let's create a package. Okay, so on dot example dot db dot demo. Okay, dot db. I'm just keeping it here. Demo on JPA dot JDBC. Okay, let's create this one and just stopping this over. New class course JDBC repository. Okay, course JDBC repository. Okay. 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 Yeah. So now what we are going to do, we are going to make this class, to connect with the DB and to perform all the operations. So whenever we wanted to connect a class to the DB, okay, so we call that class as repository. So something which is talking with something which is talking with the database, we call that class as repository. Okay, so in our case, actually this course JDBC repository is going to talk with DB. So I just added this annotation to make sure the Spring understand. So this is the class which is going to connect with the database. Sorry. Okay. And I'm going to create one private variable, which is called as JDBC template. Okay, so let's organize the imports. JDBC template. Okay, so what this JDBC template is going to do? Yeah, this is going to connect, okay, your application, to the database, and you can utilize this class object, to perform some queries. Okay, so perform some queries means like, operations like insert, update, and delete, right? So, that way you can just try to, the JDBC template will helping us, to run those queries and all, okay, using the predefined, sorry, using the predefined methods, whatever it is available in the JDBC template. Okay, so let's go ahead and, write some code. Okay. Okay, let me just copy. Okay. So what I'm doing actually, I'm just creating a basic method. Okay. So where you can insert some data into the application, right? Okay. So what I've done, actually, I just created a couple of methods. Okay. The first one is, sorry, one method, I'm sorry. Okay. So the first one is like, the one which is helping us, to insert. Okay, so the JDBC template is having a method called update. Okay, so if I mouse over here, so what it was saying, issue a single update operation, so such as insert, update, or delete statement. For any of this operation, actually JDBC template provide one method which is called as update. So in the update, you have to pass a SQL query, which you wanted to execute on the database. Okay. So now actually what we are trying to do, we are trying to add some data using this update method, right? So if you see here, I have declared a variable, static variable, which is insert underscore query, right? If you see here, this is a three, like three double quotations which I have used, which we call it as text free format. Okay, so with this approach, what you can do, whatever the direct query that you are trying to write it, in the database side, you can just copy paste over here. Okay, you don't require to worry about the sorry, yeah, the single quotations or double quotations, whatever you have it inside, you don't require to worry about these things. So this will provide a free format for the queries. Okay, you can write it on on this application. Okay, so so what it is going to do now, so we have a insert method, and we have a query that can be executed, and added it can add a record to to the database. So but this should be happen, at the application startup, because we are working with H2 database, right? So whenever you require something, to add, or to update, or to perform any of the JDBC operations, okay, so you have something, right? You have to, you have some okay, we have some class that provided by Spring, command line, uh, listener. Okay, so that class has to be, that I think it's an interface, I'm sorry. Okay, so we have to implement that interface. Okay, command line listener, and there actually you can call these JDBC template, to insert the query. Okay, so the command line listener, what it does whenever the application starts, it was the initial step that Spring is going to execute. Okay, so how do we write that class? Yeah, I'm just going to create one more package, new package, same com dot example db dot demo on cpa dot course package. Okay, I'm just creating this. And just gonna copy paste new class course command line runner. Okay. Okay. So now what we are going to do, we are going to just import, let's save this. Okay. We are going to import course command line runner. Okay. So I'm just implementing this. And okay, so when you implement, actually, we have to implement the okay. So one second. Yeah, so we have to implement one of the run method, whatever it is having in the command liner. Okay, so here we are going to write all the, write all the code, which needs to be executed whenever the server starts up. Okay, so just a minute. Okay, I'm gonna done in a couple of minutes. So I'll just do the doc copy paste. Okay, to make okay. So this is not the one. I just need to add one more extra. So this is auto wide with course JDBC repository thing. Yeah. Okay. And import auto wire. Okay. So now what we need to do, repo dot insert. Let's call this. Okay. I think we should be okay, right? Just run this application. To refresh. Run as. Okay, the executor, right? So let's go ahead and just check the database. Okay, you see here. Okay, you don't see anything inserted, but we call this command liner to execute, right? To okay, 1 second. So we're done. Insert query jdbc template dot update, right? So we're calling this insert method in the course command line runner. But there is one thing that we are missing. I think we did not auto wide jdbc template. Okay, let's see now. Yeah, application is started now. One more time. Restarted and just refresh this. Okay, something else which I'm missing. Just a minute, guys. Yeah, okay. I'll just check this one and I'll let you know tomorrow. Okay. So I don't think so there is some issue with that code, but I'm not sure why it is getting inserted. I'll just check it and tomorrow in tomorrow class we'll start from here. Okay. After inserting this, okay, we will try to go with the next topic with the JPA and how we can simplify all these queries writing and everything. Okay, we'll discuss on that. Yeah. Yes, if you have any questions, let me know. Okay. Otherwise, feel free to drop off.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Yes.
Tomorrow, will you explain again this course command line? I mean, you created inserting data into the
Yes,
data.
I'll explain. I'll explain, Gautami. Yeah. Yeah, I
And
don't
at
know.
the time we have to create a package or like this.
No. Why I'm creating actually it will make separate classes. Okay.
Okay.
So it will be able to understand properly which class that I'm trying to run it, and I'll make sure that it is having a separate package. Yeah, it is always required whenever you create a different type of class, it has to move into a different package so that we can easily identify what that class is doing. Okay,
Oh,
so um, if you see here, there are multiple packages. So this is in our default package, so which we have the application should be running, which help us, to the application to run. And the second one, it is related to JDBC. Okay, so this is a kind of a JDBC related classes that I'm going to write it. And if I just open this course, okay, so that means like there is something related to course classes that I'm going to write it over under here. So it will be easy to identify what kind of class it is. Yeah, that's why I'm just creating a package. Otherwise, you can write it in one package, all the classes. But yeah, this is a good approach. Like, whenever you write it in, in the while you're creating an application. Yeah.
Yeah, for our convenience, we are
Yes.
in this package.
Right.
And all the Spring Boot, everything will be in memory database only?
No. I'm just taking this one, I don't want to get install those Oracle and SQL Server. So that's why I was just giving a demo on this H2 database only, so that we can perform all the operations whatever we are doing it on other databases. Yeah, it is.
If
Yeah.
you no need of installing again Oracle database.
Yeah, exactly. This is only the demo purpose, right? We are not building any, a project or something. So that's why, I just created we were using H2 database. Otherwise, we can use some
Oracle SQL.
MongoDB. Yeah. The same place, the same way. Okay. You don't require to mention anything extra. It is very simple. You can just directly use this course JDBC repository to connect the Oracle. Okay. So, but the only thing, the configuration will be differ. Okay. So whatever the URL that we are trying to use it here, right? Application.properties, the JDBC URL. Okay. So instead of H2, your Oracle server related information is going to be coming here. That's it. Okay. Something like localhost, like 1501, and the database Oracle server name, and the database name will be coming here. That's it. Yeah, I can show you that configuration. It should be very simple. Then the rest all, it is same. You don't require to change anything. Okay. So if you just enable this data source properly, and if you are able to get the connection, yeah, that connection will be held by this JDBC template. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Tomorrow, just briefly explain that.
Course command, right? Sorry. Yeah, the command liner. Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that. Yeah, before
Thank
starting the class. Yeah.
you.
Thanks, Gautam. Bye.